Hi, my name is Caitlin Bishop, and I am submitting this video as part of the requirements for the Capstone thesis for American Public University System's graduate degree program, Masters of Science in Environmental Policy and Management. Floods are an act of God, but flood losses are largely an act of man. Dr. Gilbert White immortalized these words in his book, Human Adjustment to Floods. Dr. White understood that a proactive approach to mitigation could have prevented a large amount of the losses suffered. Studies show that mitigation works. In 2005, a nationally published report claims that for every dollar spent on mitigation, nearly $4 is saved on reconstruction and recovery. FEMA reports that floodplain management efforts through the NFIP and other mitigation programs have resulted in saving the American public approximately $3.4 billion annually in flood losses and damages. Flooding causes more damage in the U.S. than any other natural disaster. According to FEMA, from a period of 2008 to 2017, flood-related events accounted for 73% of all presidential disaster declarations. Population growth, surges in migration, and poor urban planning all contribute to the perpetual loss of life and property in the event of a disaster. Wetland ecosystems are among the most valuable of all ecosystems. Since the Flood Mitigation Act of 1968 was enacted, a growing number of projects have sought alternative methods to flood mitigation, rather than relying on outdated levees-only policies, which have caused significant ecological and environmental degradation. Traditional methods of flood mitigation in the U.S. include structural approaches such as levees, dams, and reservoirs. However, in recent decades, policy and decision makers have initiated a non-structural approach to flood hazard mitigation that utilizes alternative and innovative methods. Ecosystem-based adaptation is one such, and is a fairly recent concept for managing flood risk while also faced with an increasingly variable climate. EBA activities generally use targeted management and conservation and restoration approaches to maximize ecosystem services, reduce climate change risk, and protect human vulnerability. To better understand how U.S. flood policy synergizes with the innovative concepts of EBA, a selection of peer-reviewed and gray literature was analyzed for implicit and explicit references of chosen keywords. These keywords illustrate the processes and objectives for utilizing EBA to adapt to climate change and reduce flood risk in the U.S. The results of the analysis demonstrate increasing trends towards the U.S. flood mitigation projects to utilize long-term and sustainable EBA approaches such as wetland restoration to reduce flood risk and adapt for climate variability. With an increasingly changing climate, EBA offers a toolkit for building community resiliency, protecting human vulnerability, and reducing ecological degradation. Mitigation works, it saves lives, and it saves taxpayers money.